Greetings and salutations, and this is not The Price is Right. This is me going to talk about Dragon Age 2 latest DLC, Mark of the Assassin. With its release, and since I prattled on about Legacy, I might as well do Mark of the Assassin as well. However, before I will go on, I will say this. I have not played this DLC. I have not had first-hand experience. My opinion is based purely upon the playthrough I saw on YouTube. Thus, this is a third-hand experience of my first impressions of it. There will be some spoilers in my prattlage somewhere along the way, but there's your warning. So to begin, I will give you the official background about this DLC. Embark on a thrilling adventure of deception and intrigue in Mark of the Assassin, the latest downloadable expansion for Dragon Age 2. In this gripping and new story, Hawke is joined by a mysterious elf assassin, Talis, voiced by none other than actress Felicity Day. This new party member comes complete with her own unique combat style and intriguing backstory. With Talis at your side, you must infiltrate an Allegiant estate outside Kirkwall and steal a precious relic. Along the way, you uncover an array of impressive weapons and equipment, and confront fearsome and challenging new foes on your journey to claim the heart of the many. Now, the problem begins with I couldn't care less about this DLC. Well, just enough to watch through the playthrough, but that's where it ends. Was this a thrilling adventure? Not at all. Unless you have like stealth sections and entire areas dedicated to puzzles that refuse to let you progress unless you actually solve said puzzles, this is not going to be for you. The entire third of this is dedicated to such moments. How about this new character, Talis? Well, for one, all I understand about Talis is she is the star of a web series who is played by Felicity Day, who also appears in the other web series, The Guild, and for one, I couldn't care less. Her combat style is fancy in cutscenes, but otherwise, in general gameplay, she's like every other rogue. Character-wise, I wasn't stirred at all, really. And frankly, I think the voice work was a tad bland, thus failing to make me empathize at all with her. And seeing how Talis was meant to be the main draw of this, hence this is a big failure for me. It's just typical. You sit down to do a bit of recording and next thing you know, someone's knocking on the door. Okay, getting back. Gameplay wise, I have brought up two major sections of it. There is what feels like an overly long and annoying stealth section with its own set of gameplay mechanics behind it. And now, while Origins had its own, it didn't require any swapping of the game mechanics. It was all based on the rogue's skill set, namely the stealthing ability, which is quite obvious really. Now, while I can see why the skill sets had to be swapped out because your Hawke may be a mage or warrior, is not that pleasant experience by the looks of it. It is very frustrating to watch. This is Dragon Age, not Metal Gear. If we're going to have stealth sections, at least limit them to the class that most suits it, namely the rogues that can stealth. Now, we come to the puzzle sections. And there are two major sets of puzzles that I saw. The first being a flipping of tiles to unlock a vault. You had to do this on 3 different sets of tiles, which isn't too bad in itself, but it just looks annoying to do and time consuming. And then there is another one relating to a side quest, which is a very long section involving color-coded doors. That's requires you to have access to one coloured rune to access said door, to gain access to more rune pedestals to access more doors to reach certain locations. Considering the nature of this DLC and the turn of events then, do you really have the time to be hanging around solving these long puzzles when this urgent figure is there in the background waiting to be done? Thankfully, things move at the speed of plot with Dragon Age, but still, I'd rather not be doing this. Logically, the story should come first, side quest second. This is the Golems DLC for Origins all over again, where it feels like this puzzle thing was just put in to pad things out. I don't like this sort of thing. It feels just too intrusive. And secondly, I would have been tearing my hair out trying to solve these things. Other than these things, the DLC pretty much plays out like the main game. Just generally going through area, fighting mobs, looting gear, looting drops, blah blah blah, continuing on the story. The advert for this DLC failed to catch my attention enough to actually pay and play it. It feels like there's no point or purpose, since it adds nothing to the background or who Hawk is or to the main game's storyline, unlike Legacy, which gave us family history and a bit of a background behind why Kirko is such a mess. There aren't even any unlocks for installing the game, playing the game, achieving certain achievements. It adds nothing to the main game. Now, wow, Legacy didn't do this either. Legacy had its own payoff. This Mark of the Assassin doesn't have this payoff for me. There is one section in the game where we get, in the game, the DLC, where we get quite a few cameos from Origins and DA2 popping up for, well, just for being there. Yeah, it just feels like more padding. Now, a spoiler bit I came about is, I'm not going to give the full spoiler. It relates to the Canary and the whole goal of this DLC. And it is relating to them. We learn more about them. I'm sorry, but this really isn't the best way for me. By the way, if you want to expand upon the Canary, let us experience it via just do a little one-shot game where you just play someone who's either human, elf, or canary. I can't imagine the dwarves submitting themselves to Coon. And let us operate as a member of the Canary. Because as he pointed out in the DLC, Canary isn't a race, it's a religion. It's a form of belief. They follow the Coon. Yeah, fine, it has those points, but overly it just doesn't do it for me. Overall, it's disappointing. In the end, honestly, I think this is one for fans of puzzles and or Felicity Day. Otherwise, I don't think there's simply enough to it. Yeah, it was as long as Legacy, and in Legacy it had side quests actually related to it. It gave little side quests that expanded upon the area you're in. This, I think only one side quest you get comes if you take Isabella in there. I'm not sure if it works anywhere else. Do I think this is worth it? No. As I keep saying, this is not one for me. So yeah, let's hope the next one is better. Or yeah, hopefully something better to come next. Bye.